Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. So I know many people are probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the new complexion releases lately. So I have here the new Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage Foundation and the new Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. Now I reviewed each of these foundations separately and I did quite enjoy both of them. So I thought today we could do a little battle and find out which one I prefer more. So if you're trying to decide between the new Tarte or Kosas foundation, then this video is definitely for you. So hopefully I can help you save some money today by choosing a foundation that best suits your skin. So if you're excited to get started and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and let's get this battle started right now. All right, I will zoom you all in a little bit closer in just a minute. I did just want to mention, in case you're new here, I'm in my mid-30s and I have oily, dehydrated, acne-prone skin. Now, I like all types of coverage from skin tints to medium coverage to full coverage, you name it, I love it all. However, because I do have acne-prone skin and I'm starting to get fine lines, I am pretty picky about my complexion products. Now, the only thing I have as far as makeup and skincare goes so far is a little bit of eyeshadow and mascara. I'm going to finish up my brows and the rest of my lips and all of that in just a little bit here. And the only thing I have in my skin so far is moisturizer. So for primer today, I have this little sample of the Smashbox Original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. I do just want to quickly mention Smashbox recently came out with 4 different brand new primers and I did review the mattifying one, so if you're curious to see that primer in action, I will link that video right up here for you guys. So as I apply this primer, I do also want to mention that I have oily, dehydrated skin, and right now, since we are in the dead of winter, my skin is extra dehydrated, so we'll really be able to see how well these foundations perform over dry patches, as well as how they perform on my oily skin throughout the day. And I also have a few blemishes, so we will see how those get covered up. All right, so I'm going to give that primer just a minute to sink into my skin. In case you are wondering what is on my eyes, I use 2 of my favorite palettes, which are from Jolie Beauty. This is the Sorceress palette, and this is the Vampirism palette. These 2 are so beautiful. And lastly, I did not want to use a new primer today because I did not want it to affect the wear of these 2 foundations. However, if you are foundation and concealered out and you are looking for a different type of content, I do just want to quickly mention Revolution just came out with a brand new blur stick that is kind of combined with skincare. And they also released a new under eye rehab primer for the under eyes. NYX has a new brow gel, and Milani has a new matte formula in their lipstick. So I will be reviewing all of these products in an Ulta video very soon. So make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. In case you missed my original review of each of these foundations, I did want to re-swatch them for you guys. So the shade I have in the Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage Foundation is the shade 16B, which is fair to light beige. And in the Kosas Revealer Foundation, I have the shade Very Light Cool 120. Now for any of my shade twinsies out there, each of these shades are pretty much dead on skin matches for me, even though they look a little bit different swatch next to each other. So the first swatch right here on my left, your right, is the Tarte in 16B. And the one on my right, your left, is Kosas Very Light Cool 120. All right, so let's get started with the Tarte Cloud Coverage Foundation on my left side. So I'm going to squirt out 1 pump where I just did those swatches. Now the Kosas is a little bit more runny than the Tarte one. As you can see, it's starting to drip down. I would say the Tarte foundation is a little bit more kind of like a moussey texture. For application, I'm going to be using one of my favorite foundation brushes. So these are the Sonia G Lotus Base brushes. Yes, I have 2 because I love this brush so much. Now, in addition to the Sonia G Lotus Base brushes, I also want to try a new technique out today. So Wayne Goss recently put out a masterclass video for foundation, and what he suggested to do as far as covering nose pores is to use a small, dense, fluffy brush. Now typically when we use a larger foundation brush, such as this, which is another one of my favorite affordable brushes, the AOA Studio F2 High Def brush. But typically when you go on with such a large brush, it's a little bit difficult to be very precise on the pores. So I thought for the nose area only, I could try using a small, dense, fluffy brush for the nose. So this is the Morphe M173 brush. All right, so I did just have to wipe off and clean this palette because it was dropped. So this is about 1 pump of the Tarte Cloud Foundation. So let's get started with application. So I also have 2 of these brushes. So let's start with the nose. I'm just going to dip in a tiny, tiny bit and almost buff it around a little bit. That way there isn't too much foundation on the brush. So I really want to try this technique out by buffing in small circles. It's supposed to completely hide your pores. So let's see if it does. Okay, I brought you guys in a little bit closer. Hopefully that's helpful. So I will say I do feel like my pores are hidden a little bit more than typical. What do you guys think as far as no foundation on the right side of the nose and the Tarte on this side with the buffing method? All right, now I'm going to take my Sonia G Lotus Base Brush and do the same thing. Just dip in a tiny bit. Now this brush really picks up quite a bit of product. So that's why I like to wipe a little bit of it off and kind of blend it into the palette a little bit. Now I typically start with the forehead. I know most folks don't, but this is just how I prefer to work, top to bottom. All right, have a little bit more, so let's blend the rest of the skin. Now I really like to work in small layers if possible, just because, you know, I'm not 18 anymore, so caking on the foundation doesn't quite work for me anymore. This brush was one of the best investments I ever made. It's so great because no matter what your technique is, if you like to paint it on, buff, it just works amazing. I'm going to build this up a little bit because I don't even think I've used 1/4 of a pump. And I do have a couple of blemishes, so we'll be able to see how these foundations cover. So before I add this second layer, I did just want to mention I have a breakout right here, right here, right here, here. So I have quite a few. So I am taking the smaller brush as well and just kind of dabbing over those spots. So I just want to try buffing right here in this area with this small brush just to see if I really notice any difference with the large brush. Now Tarte recently came out with another concealer. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in my glory with all these new foundation and concealer releases. But it's supposed to be a concealer to go along with the Tarte Hydro Flax foundation. Now that is one of my favorite foundations of all time. I just think Tarte does such a great job for complexion products. So if you guys want to see a review of that new concealer, just let me know down in the comments. Be happy to do that for you. All right, well you guys, I am really liking using a small brush. I wouldn't say I would want to do this for the entire skin or the entire face, but for targeted areas, I'm really liking adding this. So I'm gonna start doing this on my foundation reviews. So I would say this Tarte Cloud Foundation is definitely a true medium coverage. You can certainly build it up more, but I find that it does a great job just with the medium coverage. Now, I would say I use about half of that, maybe just a little bit more for the left half of the skin. So what do you guys think about the Tarte foundation and nothing on this side? I think it did a great job at covering my blemishes. You can still see them a little bit, as well as my natural skin peeking through, but I just love the finish. I feel like it really smooths and blurs the pores really nicely, and it's not gripping to any of my dehydration. So overall, this is just a great foundation in my collection. All right, I just cleaned off my palette, so let me give this Kosas Revealer Foundation a little shake. Same thing, I'm going to squirt out 1 pump here. All right, I have my other Morphe brush, so I'm going to dip in a little bit and pat it on the palette. I'm going to do the same technique I did on the left half of the skin with this buffing motion. So I grabbed just a little bit too much, so I'm just buffing it into my cheek a little bit. All right, I have my other Sonia G brush, so I'm going to dip into the Kosas. So I feel like this Kosas foundation is spreading a lot more than the Tarte, so I'm going to go in with maybe a little bit less. I don't think that's because it provides more coverage, but I think it's just because the Kosas has a little bit more of a runny texture. So there is that blemish I was talking about, so let's see how this covers. I am avoiding the eye area because I do plan on going in with a little bit of concealer. Now, neither of these foundations have a scent. At least I could not smell anything. However, I will say the Kosas foundation, it almost smells like grass. So I don't think it has a scent as far as a perfume goes. However, just the natural scent, whenever I smell it, I just feel like I'm smelling the fresh outdoors. And I do believe the Tarte foundation has mushroom extract. So if you are allergic to mushrooms, I did just want to mention that. All right, so I'm going to tap just a little bit onto this blemish here. All right, so both foundations have been blended in. So just taking a look at my skin, I feel like the Tarte one is blurring my pores a little bit more, and I feel like they both dry down. So if you do plan on going in with 2 layers, I would just recommend going in with more product at once, because I feel like with both of these foundations, if you let them dry down in between the next layer, then it kind of picks up on itself. But overall, I think both sides look great. The shades match. What do you guys think? Tarte, Kosas. All right, I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup and show you what the foundations are looking like after that. All right, I know I just said I was going to finish up the rest of my makeup. However, before I do that, I just wanted to bring the camera in up close. You guys know I don't use any filters or anything. And let me know what you guys think. I do think both sides look amazing. And I have so much dehydration in this area. Basically, where I get oily is also where I have dehydration. So I think both sides are looking great. They're both true medium coverages. I would say they both dried down, so I don't believe you would have to use powder for either of these. I was actually expecting the Kosas to be much more dewy, but I think it's just a natural finish. So tell me, do you guys notice a difference on my pores from the Tarte side versus the Kosas side? Now, maybe it's just me, but I do feel like overall, this side just looks a little bit more blurred and smooth. Now, they both look great, but it's just ever so slight. I feel like, especially right here, it just looks the tiniest bit dry, where this side, I'm not really seeing that. So I don't know, let me know what you guys are thinking, and I will see you in a moment once my makeup is finished. All right, so I was sitting here talking for a moment, and all of a sudden my camera just went whoop, it fell right off. So if the angle is a little wonky right now, that's why. But I just finished up the rest of my makeup, and I do have to say I went in very light as far as the rest of the complexion products. I just put the tiniest bit of concealer, a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlight, and then for setting powder, I went in with this new Wet n Wild Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder. You guys, I just reviewed this powder. It is incredible. I think if you did not know that this product is around $4, you would think it's high-end. At least in my opinion, I think it blurs the pores so well. So let me pull back the hair a little bit, that way you can see my skin now. So once again, this was Tarte, Kosas. You guys are going to have to let me know at this point which side looks better. All right, I will meet you guys back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts and a wear test. Hi everybody, I just got home from work and my makeup has been on now for just about 8 hours. So let me come in a little bit closer so you can see what the skin is looking like. All right, you guys, so we are zoomed in. So go ahead and take a look at my skin. So this was Tarte and this was Kosas. So Tarte, Kosas. All right, so before I give you my final thoughts, comment down below which side you like better. All right, so this is really difficult for me to pick a favorite. I feel like both sides look incredible. All right, so first things first, I have a little bit of mascara that always transfers with my Essence Lash Princess, so just ignore the flakes that are under there if you can. I did not want to touch up my skin because I wanted you just to see how it is without any touch-ups. So I have to say, I think both sides look really good. Now, I am a pretty picky foundation and concealer wearer, and I think that's just because I don't have just oily skin, I don't have just dry skin or dehydrated skin, I don't have just acne concerns, I don't have just fine lines. As you can tell, I just have so many different skin concerns. So for me to find great foundations that check all of those boxes, it's pretty rare. So at taking a look at both sides, ironically, I feel like they both controlled oils very well. I guess I don't remember either of the foundations controlling my oils that well. And I can't remember if I went in with powder or not on the original reviews. I feel like I didn't, because typically when I do that first day wear, I don't add any helping products. But do keep in mind, I did go in with the Wet n Wild powder today. I didn't use a ton. I just took my damp sponge and just tapped in a little bit. But I do think part of the oil controlling properties are from this powder. But that said, I feel like both sides look great as far as the pores being blurred. I don't feel like either side, looks cakey or makeup-y. And for the end of the night, my lipstick has worn off too, but anyways, for the end of the night, I feel like both sides just look so good. But at the end of the day, we are doing a battle. So if I had to choose the Kosas Revealer or the Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Foundation, I would choose Tarte Shape Tape Cloud. Now, as I mentioned, I think as far as covering the acne, going over texture, not sinking into my fine lines, controlling oils, still providing hydration, they both are incredible. However, just taking a look really up close at my skin, I feel like the Tarte just blurs the pores a little bit better, and especially around my mouth and where I have acne and breakouts, I feel like it's starting to break down just the tiniest bit. I mean, I don't think you would be able to tell unless I pointed it out. So as I said, both sides I feel like look great, but if I had to pick one, overall, I've just got to give it to Tarte. So I am dying to know what you guys think. As I said, please vote down below if you've tried these foundations or even one of them. Let me know, are you Team Kosas or Team Tarte? Have you picked up either of these foundations? Have you tried them out? Let us know what your skin type is and what your experience was. I am just one person, so I'm just sharing with you my opinion. So let me know all of your thoughts down below. So I do feel like the combination of the Smashbox Photo Finish Blur Primer with the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation, as well as the Wet n Wild Bare Focus, I feel like currently, as of today, these are probably my holy grail products. Now, I do think Kosas comes in a close second, but if I had to pick a favorite primer, powder, and new foundation, I would say I'd have to give it to these three. Now, you guys, I am so sorry. I completely forgot to mention this when I was doing my makeup, but I did go in with a setting spray today. I did not use any setting spray when I first reviewed the two foundations. So the one I used today is the Morphe Mattifying Continuous Mist. So I just want to mention, if you have oily skin, I feel like this is an amazing setting spray. The sprayer's a little bit wonky. It's kind of supposed to be this continuous fine mist, which it is, but it kind of shoots out a little bit weird in sections. But anyways, as far as the formula, just the combination of, these other three products with the Morphe spray, I mean, usually I am so much more oily now, so I don't think it's entirely from the powder and the mist. I do feel like the foundation does play a role as far as oily skin and controlling the oils goes, but overall I would say these product combinations are my favorite. All right, if you guys are still here watching through the end of the video, first of all, I so appreciate you spending your time with me. Now, I don't have access to the community tab to do a poll yet, unfortunately. Hopefully I will soon. But that said, I have a quick question for you guys. So my quick question is, do you enjoy having the topic of the day included, kind of intertwined with these videos? If you are new here, I typically do a topic of the day regarding finance or insurance. Now, a couple videos back, I had someone mention that they really just did not like the combination of finance topics with makeup. They felt it was just a little bit discombobulated and didn't really add up. So I just wanted to ask you guys, honestly, let me know. If you would rather me just do makeup, just do reviews, I am completely fine with that. However, if you do enjoy the finance topic of the day, I would really appreciate you letting me know your thoughts down below, because at the end of the day, I'm here to create content for you guys. So I have no idea if you enjoy both or if you would rather just have one, unless you comment and let me know. So if you all could do me a favor and vote down below in the comment section, what I'm thinking is, if you do enjoy the topic of the day and you want me to continue putting topic of the days in my videos, then go ahead and comment monetary makeup, hashtag monetary makeup, all one word. And if you don't want the topic of the day, then you don't have to say anything at all. That way it won't be obvious. If you want to remain, anonymous, that's completely fine. All right, all of that said, I do hope you enjoyed the battle of Tarte versus Kosas today. Don't forget to also vote whether you are Team Kosas or Team Tarte. Love to hear all of your guys' thoughts. I just want to thank you all so much for watching another one of my videos, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.